News every 15 minutes, weather every 10, and sports twice an hour.
Newstalk, KGVO, AM 1290 and 101.5 FM.
You're listening to Montana Morning with Peter Christian.
Ryan Zinke goes for Donald Trump. Good morning, everyone. Montana Morning. It is Thursday, May 26, 2016. The sky is overcast. We're expecting some rain today. Right now we have 51 degrees. Pretty warm out there here in western Montana. Our newscast sponsored by Bulls Eyewear. They offer some of the lowest prices in town on contact lenses. See Lynette at 2910 South Reserve. This morning's top story, first-term Republican Congressman Ryan Zinke has officially endorsed Donald Trump for President of the United States. Zinke said, as a military veteran, he believes Trump will be an effective commander-in-chief.
We need a commander-in-chief who supports our troops rather than abandons them, like in the case of Benghazi. That's personal for me. I had friends die in Benghazi, friends I grew up with in the United States Navy SEALs. They were more than friends, they were brothers. We need a commander-in-chief who honors the sacrifices of warfighters rather than one who lies about being there. I was in Bosnia, and I can tell you for certain, Hillary Clinton was nowhere near sniper fire.
Zinke went on to tout Trump's business background.
We need a businessman who will not accept business as usual in Washington. America is going broke while Washington, D.C. booms. And finally, we need a businessman who will create more good-paying jobs rather than killing the remaining coal jobs we have here at home.
Zinke concluded by contrasting Trump with the presumptive Democratic nominee, Hillary Clinton.
Mr. Trump and I don't agree on 100% of the issues, but I can say without a doubt he will be more trustworthy and truthful than Hillary Clinton even knows how to be. I'm happy to welcome the next president of the United States to Montana.
Zinke will be on stage with Trump tonight to introduce the presidential candidate to the crowd at Metro Park, or this afternoon, I should say. Also, a spokeswoman for Republican Senator Steve Daines says an announcement is planned at the rally, but she did not elaborate. The Montana lawmaker said previously Trump was not his first or second choice for president. By the way, Ryan Zinke will be live right here on KGVO tomorrow morning on the Montana Morning Show from 7:30 until 8, an entire half hour live here in studio, taking your calls. Attorneys for the Public Employees for Environmental Responsibility filed a lawsuit this week over a potential transfer of the National Bison Range in Moise to the Salish and Kootenai tribes. Peer Senior Counsel Paula Dinerstein explains.
We are claiming that this is a federal action that under the National Environmental Policy Act requires an environmental impact statement before any such proposal is made to Congress. And we're also challenging the fact that the National Bison Range does not have a comprehensive conservation plan, which is required under federal law.
Dinerstein says the National Environmental Policy Act requires that environmental impact statements be done not only for major federal projects affecting the environment, but also for proposals for legislation.
There has never been a refuge taken out of the federal refuge system before, and this is one of the premier refuges, and, as far as we can tell, there would be no guarantee in the legislation that it would be managed the same way that the federal government is managing it as a refuge for all Americans and to protect the bison and the other wildlife that are there. It would be left up to the tribes.
The AP reports Wildlife Service spokeswoman Ana Munoz said under the proposal, the range would continue to be managed to maintain a herd of 300 to 400 bison. Dinerstein says federal officials have 60 days to respond. 20 Kalispell students have been barred from participating in their high school graduation ceremonies in connection with a break-in and vandalism at the school. The Daily Interlake reports that Kalispell Public Schools trustees voted 8-3 in favor of the decision Tuesday after the 21 Flathead High School students involved, including one junior, were invited to go before the board. The trustees who voted against the decision had argued that not all students played equal roles in the vandalism. Damage to the school during the May 1st incident included broken windows, water fountains ripped off the walls, and a broken moose sculpture. The students have also served school suspensions, with most lasting 4 to 6 days. They could still face criminal charges. Human trafficking and modern-day slavery are aspects of life that most Montanans never deal with. But for Missoula Police Detective Guy Baker, it's an aspect of his daily life. Baker works as part of a regional task force with the FBI and can say without a doubt that human trafficking does happen here in Missoula.
I've had local girls trafficked here. I've had local girls trafficked out of state, and I've had girls from out of state trafficked here, and that's the most common one. So the majority of victims we deal with are non-residents of Montana, and they're traveling circuits. So the I-90 circuit out of Washington from Spokane to Missoula is a common one.
Before noon yesterday, there were already 5 posts on Backpage.com of women who would be in Missoula often for just a single day. Some of these posts may have been for prostitutes who are freely choosing to perform sex. But according to Baker, many of these women are trapped in sex slavery.
In 2016, I have worked 3 cases. My most recent one is 2 weeks ago. We had about half a dozen cases last year in 2015 that I worked on. I've been working these cases since 2011, so about 5 years now. They doubled in 2015 after I trained our patrol officers what to look for in 14.
Baker's been busy performing training sessions for officers, not just in Montana, but all over the country as well. He'll be speaking at the Stock Human Trafficking in Montana conference that will take place at the University of Montana tomorrow morning, starting at 8:30. A company started with money embezzled from the Chippewa Cree tribe has pleaded guilty to falsely claiming to be a minority-owned business. MT Waterworks LLC officials entered the plea on Wednesday on charges that the company claimed to be mostly owned and operated by a Native American, which gave it an advantage when competing for contracts. A plea deal calls for the company to pay a $350,000 fine. Former Chippewa Cree Construction Corporation CEO Tony Belcourt helped to start the Billings company in 2010. Belcourt later pleaded guilty to stealing federal stimulus aid meant for tribal construction projects through a complicated scheme of shell companies and kickbacks. Belcourt invested $101,000 of that money at MT Waterworks. He was listed as owning 51% of the company, but prosecutors say he was an equal partner and had no managerial role. Wildland firefighters from Missoula and other parts of Montana are headed north of the border to assist with efforts in battling blazes in the province of Alberta, Canada. Forest Service Public Affairs spokesman Scott Fenimore said the crews were scheduled to depart from the airport yesterday.
We've got the Lolo interagency hotshot crew based here in Missoula that's going to be going up, as well as 4 hand crews from across Montana. We've got employees from Forest Service units, the Kootenai National Forest, the Helena, the Lolo, and then there's also some BLM employees.
Fenimore said the personnel will probably be working in Canada for at least 2 weeks.
A typical assignment is 14 days, and again, my understanding is that they would use that typical 14-day assignment. Because it's an international assignment, there may be some different requirements and expectations associated with it.
Fenimore said the U.S. Forest Service is glad to reciprocate after so many Canadian firefighters have assisted on wildfires in Montana over the years. Our News Talk time is 6:12.
Newstalk, KGVO.
Missoula's official weather station.
Partly to mostly cloudy skies today with a chance of showers and thunderstorms this afternoon. Highs will be in the upper 60s tonight. Low temperatures will drop into the 40s. We'll see wet and windy conditions again Friday. I'm meteorologist Brooke Foster for KECI 13.